Kyle here from allmediareviews.blogspot.com. Tuesday, June 7th. Of course, the rest of the week I'm not home, so I can't really do these. Don't typically have time. Anyway, so I'm going to do news and collection. Unless I'm just going to, not many news items. So, so I'll just do my collection first. Just get that out of the way. The news stuff is later. It's just a couple items. I'll just kind of tease it. It involves Peter Gabriel himself, so that, from my memory, if there's anything else, I can't remember right now. But, so first the CDs, well, yeah. So, Lickerish Quartet, the Lickerish Quartet, which features Roger Manning, formerly of Jellyfish, and Imperial Drag. Yeah, he wasn't in the Great. I always get that mixed up, but then he's got his solo career. Anyway, reunion with... look at the list, because it's two members of Jellyfish, but it's not... I don't know if it's his brother and Eric Dover. It's not. I don't think Jason Faulkner's, because he'd be doing the lead singing. Jason Faulkner, if he was involved. It's too bad it's not with him. I don't think so. No, Tim Smith and Eric Dover. It's Eric Dover. It's not his brother Chris, who was a member of Jellyfish, but it's Roger Joseph Manning Jr., Eric Dover, and Tim Smith. So their third EP in as many years, I believe, came out toward the end of May 20th, the same day as a couple other records. I think the Family Crest came out that day, and everything. So here it is. I decided you could buy. They had them on vinyl and CD, and the truth is, I'll be honest, I like these EPs. I'm not floored by them, but I'm kind of figuring out which ones I like the most. But the last couple of years, I didn't buy them when they came out, just partly because I wasn't blown away, but I mean, I'm liking it enough, and I'm a Jellyfish fan. I have some of Roger's solo work. I have on CD. I don't have anything on vinyl at this point. I have, I know I got The World of Imagination. I think it's called something like that. And then Catnip Dynamite I listened to at one point, I know. But anyway, like Land of Pure Imagination, I think it was. But so this is the third one. I mean, I fortunately knew they're all at 4 tracks. It's almost like this is like a color spectrum. It's like 3 EPs of the color spectrum, because it's all called Threesome Volume 1. So the 3 of them, Roger, Eric Dover, and Tim Smith. And I'm kind of feeling like the first one is actually the worst, or my least favorite, which is weird because a lot of people are liking that. But I'm liking the last 2 more. The one that came out last year, Threesome Volume 2, but yeah, these are the 3. I don't know. I mean, it was a couple weeks ago when I listened to these, I mean, it's like his solo stuff. It's part of it is, I know Roger doesn't do all the lead vocals. He does a lot of them. I don't think he does all of them. I wouldn't ruin that. So you don't get lyrics, unfortunately. So Dave Richardson wouldn't be all that thrilled about that, but. Yeah, I mean, this one, the thing that took me over, Sovereign, Do You Feel Better? The second one, I think, is probably my favorite. But the new one, I like at least a few of these songs quite a bit. I mean, they're catchy. It's power pop of a sort, with a little twist and stuff like that. I mean, it's slightly prog related, but, among the EPs that came out this year, they got a bunch of other names on here. Adam James, Ken Sloot, like people they're thanking. One of the best EPs I've heard this year. I don't know if it's the best. I would put it maybe right behind that thing from Typhoon, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna put it in my list. I was forgetting about Oldster too, the Josh Benash thing. But here's the first one that came out in 2020. So, all right. So anyway, I got all 3 of these EPs, and I like them. Again, I bought the CDs. Primarily because, from the Lickerish Quartet, because I'm liking but not, obsessed with them. I mean, I kind of figured I'll eventually buy the vinyl if I get to the point where I am. So that's it. I mean, I got the Family Crest CD. I got another 2 copies of it, actually. I had unintentionally. Anyway, so onto the vinyl. So the first vinyl I found is, if I can find the sleeve, the cover of it. Yeah, no, that's not it. It's on here somewhere. Problem when you open this stuff up. I think this is it right here. Maybe, no, or right here. Here it is. Sorry about that. Menomena's single, the 7-inch single from their last record they released when Brett Knopf was in the band, Minds. Taos is an edit. It's got the B-side of I'm pretty sure I don't have this. I have another Menomena. Pretty sure I have another Menomena 7-inch. I do. I have at least one. I also might have a split of theirs, but I don't believe I have this one, Taos. So it's Taos. Here's the track list I can show you. Is 5 Little Rooms, the edit also. So it's 2 edits. Those are 2 songs from Minds. Let Me Know is an unreleased song, and Copious is unreleased. So 2 unreleased tracks, which the truth is I don't know if I've even heard those. So, but this is a gatefold, 7-inch gatefold, which I have some of those, but those are kind of rare. They are rare. I mean, there's no question. This is like a double. Just black vinyl, it looks like. It's probably issued in that album, Minds came out in 2010. Yeah, I mean, I miss Menomena. Justin Harris, of course, is now a full-time member. He's played on the last 2 Block Party albums. He plays live with them. And Brett Knopf, of course, doing Ramona Falls and that project that he did with the member from The National. Elvie, which I didn't think was great, but, I'm glad it's been successful for him. And then I don't know what... Danny Simon, I don't know how much music he's been doing. He's been doing some other stuff, but... they had their time, Menomena. Whether they ever get back together or not, they're at least they have a lot of good music. They released throughout the 2000s. So, and Minds, while it's not my favorite Menomena, I would still... All the Brent records are good. That's the best way to put it. So, where I'd rank it, I don't know. I probably would... Under an Hour is the one that from that period with the instrumental record that I would love to get on vinyl that I don't have. I have everything else, I believe, including Mom's, their last record. So, yeah, this is Taos and 5 Little Rooms. Cool 7-inch that I found at Electric Fetus for whatever it was, $9. 4 songs. So it's not like just a one-track thing. So the next one I found was one I've been wanting for the last couple of years. It came out in 2019, the Pat Metheny album, From This Place. Love Pat Metheny. I was showing the CD the other day. It's right there, The Way Up, which is an album I like, but I think more people like it a lot more than I do. But this album was like the first new record he released that really caught my attention more than... He's very prolific. He's probably released, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 albums in the last 10 or 12 years. I don't know, between his own group, the Unity group, and Pat Metheny as a solo artist. The thing about this record, From This Place from 2019, I think it finished 2nd or 3rd. I had Vanavi above it and 1 or 2 others off the top of my head. But it was toward the top of my list the whole year, basically. It came out really early in the year. It's very cinematic. And that's why I was really getting into it. I don't know if that was the direction. But he's, Pat Metheny, I always want to check out his stuff if I can, although he's put out so much music, and a lot of his music kind of, I want to say it blurs, but he's definitely, almost spotty, but his best music is just fantastic. I love the stuff I like the most, that I really prefer. But then there's a lot of music from him I'm not crazy about. But here's the credits. Antonio Sanchez, of course, was the drummer. Not a lot of other big names. Of course, Lionel Mays. I don't know if this is before Lionel Mays passed away, because I think Lionel Mays passed away in 2020, but like some of this music might have been dedicated to him. Steve Rodby, okay, he's on here. I know some of the players, but he's had a lot of players that I don't know. He's just, prolific and a collaborator, and just his career, 6 Degrees of Pat Metheny could go 100 deep. So, but yeah, this to me, really since maybe The Way Up, this is the first record I really have enjoyed a lot from him since that record. I love the 80s and then some of his 90s albums. And of course the early stuff, most of it I like, although I think when he branched out and was doing some different things with vocalists and stuff like that, I got more into his stuff. But The stuff over the last decade has just not been as much my thing. I've just listened to it and I kind of think, I've heard this kind of stuff from him, or, you know. But this one, there was a difference because it definitely sounded very cinematic. He used more instrumentation from this place, and glad to finally get it on vinyl from a couple of years ago, 2019. So I got a couple more, and then I'll go on to those little news items I mentioned. So the next one is, which I think also may be 2018 or 2019. I think it was 2019 also. Esperanza Spalding, her album 12 Little Spells. Another artist that her best stuff I think is fantastic. Now, the last record I bought from hers was the one that before this that was an experiment. I bought it because of the hope is she recorded it live, like as on Facebook she filmed like a lot of the recordings of it. Wasn't as crazy about it, but this one came out like literally less than a year later, and this was really good. The songs on it are terrific. Kind of, you know, her style of like jazzy, funky soul pop music. I mean, she's kind of proggy. She has a lot of different kind of influences. And yeah, I haven't listened to this in a while, but I'm trying to remember. Touch in Mind was one of the ones I really liked. I mean, I remember this was consistent. The title track, Dancing the Animal. I mean, Esperanza Spalding won the Best New Artist Grammy the year that I think Bieber was up and a few other people, and it was kind of out of nowhere because she was considered largely a jazz artist at the time. But she also had appeared or then went on to appear on albums like with Janelle Monáe, and she's more than a jazz artist, but she plays a lot of bass and upright bass. But the album that came out previous to this is the one that really I got into. I'm blanking on the name now. I don't have that. That album I probably prefer. I probably like even more than this, but it's kind of a push. It has the name of a girl in it. Esperanza. I should know this. Emily something. Emily's Wonderland or something like that. Emily plus D plus Evolution. I mean, that was I think it was 2016. Yeah, because I remember that, and there was comparisons to Metheny, and I got into Metheny and Esperanza Spalding, those two albums at the same time. Those were the first albums I had heard from either band, but either artist rather. But yeah, this is. I mean, I should revisit it. I mean, I wish I would have got it a few years ago, but it was kind of. I felt like I was burned because the one record I did buy in vinyl from her right after I got into her, the one that between this and Emily's D plus Evolution, Exposure. While it was an interesting experiment, the music was more stripped down, and the kind of the fun excitement, the sort of experiments weren't as experimental, I guess you could say. But I need to get Emily's D plus Evolution. Some of her like the one that won the Grammy. It's more like traditional jazz, most post-bop and bebop, you know, and I kind of like it when Esperanza Spalding goes into like the proggy funk soul territory. To me, in some ways, Esperanza Spalding is kind of taken the mantle for me in what Janelle Monáe was doing. Janelle Monáe's last record, you know, Dirty Computer, I didn't care that much for. The last song she released was okay. It was like a year or two ago. I think it was last year, but Janelle Monáe, the jury is out on a little bit. I love the first two Janelle Monáe albums, but I love that EP especially. But she's doing that kind of soul funk, psychedelic soul funk, proggy stuff to an extent that Janelle did. I mean, they're not exactly the same. The fact that she was on Janelle's second record, I think it was, but she kind of fills that void both vocally. She's not the same kind of singer, but it's a similar style. You know, she has a soulful voice, just like Janelle. So. But yeah, I mean, this is. I should look at the credits, but because I know she had like, was it Dan Israel or it's Matt Stevens is on this. Richard Harris. That's not the same Richard Harris, of course. The late Richard Harris, not the same. Yeah, kind of a lot. But she had some of these like sort of indie rock people on the previous record, but maybe. She's a, you know, very eclectic musician. You know, you can't really say she's just a soul artist or a funk artist or R&B artist. She's really, or a jazz artist. Jazz is probably her biggest thing, but I probably should do a video on her whole catalog, but I haven't heard it all. I've only heard those 3 albums, really, and I've got one of her other CDs from like the early 2010s. that I got. I think it was KFAI. I got it from their library. So, but this is 12 Little Spells from Esperanza Spalding. It was 2019. Again, I'm looking here. That's what I thought it said. Yeah, I was thinking it was 2018, but anyway. So on the last vinyl for the vinyl community, I did get a copy of the debut album from Doves. Doves is a British band that I got into, and this was always my favorite one, Lost Souls. And the thing is, there's a little bit of damage on this thing right there, as you can see. And I saw that in the store when I was at the Electric Fetus, and I asked them, it's like, well, they discount. They gave me 20% off. So, I think it was 20%. I don't have any other of their records on vinyl, actually, but when did I just drop? Another download card or something, yeah. Yeah, the download card, the Sound of Vinyl, yeah. Came out, I think, in 2000 or 2001. I should know this by heart. 2000, yep. So, but yeah, it's got a lot of their classics. I mean, you're going to call them classics. Break Me Gently, Sea Song, Rise, the title track, Catch the Sun. Very kind of textured rock. There's a little bit of a Foo Fighters element. I don't like the Foo Fighters, though, but there's also like a King Crimson interpretation, I think, on this, or maybe the one after it. I don't know. They always had kind of a psychedelic prog. I mean, yeah, the Radiohead influences there. They're definitely a case of a band that was influenced by Radiohead and that Britpop. But they fused together with their own style, and the vocals never bugged me. Although, again, this is their debut album. This is the best thing they ever did, I think. They did a few other records I liked. I mean, the follow-up, Last Broadcast. I can't remember which one it was. Last Broadcast I liked. Some Cities, I think, was the one after that. I wasn't crazy. And then their last record, before the one that put out last year, was Kingdom of Rust, was like a return to form. They had a big gap, I think. It was like 3 or 4 years. But then they kind of went on hiatus, and they put out a record. I think it was 2021. 2020 or 2020. I think it was 2021. Last year, and it was in my top 20 records. I don't remember where it finished exactly, but it sounded like they basically picked up where they left off. So, but yeah, I mean, I always associate playing this band in the car. This is the second track, 7, 8, and 9. Interesting interesting artwork there. It looks like a spiral or something. Yeah, I would listen to this, and I would hear their tracks on. Sometimes I'd put on A93, the current. So they got some of those songs, like Catch the Sun, got radio airplay. I mean, I discovered them when I discovered Muse, and who was the other one? There was a couple. I mean, you could put not Manson, maybe Manson a little bit, but there's the early Velveteen's a little bit like that. Velveteen's not British, but there's one other British band. I'm not thinking of that one record. Even Archive a little bit. That kind of psychedelic Brit-pop prog elements. I think it was the Last Broadcast they covered. They basically reinterpreted a King Crimson tune. Who am I thinking of? Who's the band I'm not remembering right now? That's South. I'd put them in the similar category as South, but South only has one record I really like. A little bit of Manson and... maybe like the Velveteen's not British, but in that kind of vein. But yeah, Lost Souls is a classic debut record. I mean, I'm not thrilled with the fact that I got the case is a little damaged, but compare that to what happened to those Blackfield records, I don't feel bad about it. But this is in great shape. But yeah, no, I was glad to finally pick up a copy. I don't know if I'll end up getting any of them. They have the Last Broadcast there too, but I don't like that album quite as much. But Last Broadcast, I don't know, Some Cities is the one I probably would not bother with. But anyway, so those are the records and CDs I picked up recently, other than the Family Crest. And then I have the other Family Crest. I need to put this away. This is the lyric sheet. Yeah, it is. Here it comes. A boxer. Lost Souls. The box is supposed to be a lost soul. The pieces of news. So I forgot to mention. I don't think I mentioned it, but Matt Mahaffey / Self posted on Instagram about a month ago that he's been recording his first new music since 2014, I think it was, or 2017. Anyway, he's recording new music. So he's been doing soundtrack work and, basically for the better part of, especially 7 or 8 years when he finally moved back from LA to his home, his native Nashville, or where he's originally from. He's tended bar, but he hasn't done self stuff. I mean, he put out that one song for Record Store they never got, and then I did that self video, that EP, the last EP, which was just terrific, and the production was great. But he's making a living doing the soundtrack work for television and movies, animated stuff. But I'm wondering when it's going to come out, whatever he's putting out, whether it be a song or an EP or maybe a full length. I mean, the guy was so prolific for so long. He recorded it's over 100 songs in the better part of 10 years. So, but he's paying his bills and doing this stuff, so he hasn't had to. But hopefully he's got some new stuff. I mean, the last EP again was terrific. So if you're a Self fan, keep your tabs, on him, or watch my channel, my Twitter account, Twitter feed, or something like that. The other piece of news that has been passed around a little, well, there's a couple things actually, I forgot about that. But one of them is Peter Gabriel. Peter Gabriel's long-awaited, long-anticipated album, the follow-up is believed to be called I/O. Could be coming out by the end of this year. The drummer Manu, whatever his last name is, he posted an interview with a French newspaper magazine about they're recording the album right now and expect to be out at the end of the year, and they're gonna tour Manu Katché. Peter Gabriel's expected to tour the world next spring and supporting the new record, so I/O or whatever it's gonna be called. Then on Instagram, it was yesterday, the day before, there's pictures of Manu, Tony Levin, and so this is would be the first record since 2002's up proper. He did Ovo around the same time. He's done these kind of reinterpretations, Scratch My Back, and some covers and stuff like that. But no, this is a big deal. I mean, I loved Up. Up is my favorite Peter Gabriel record. I mean, I've got a lot of his record, almost everything he's done. I consider Up my favorite. Not by dramatic amounts, but I'm curious. The only thing I wonder about is was he overthought this? What were the original ideas for these songs? David Rhodes is the guitarist, so yeah. I mean, the fact that they're recording now suggests that something will come out sometime soon, within the next 6 months to a year. And it'll be something to be excited about. Even if it doesn't live up to the hype, just to have any new music from Peter Gabriel, and probably could be his last thing. I know his voice isn't what it once was, but I remember seeing an interview with him a few years back, talking about how the songs for I/O he wouldn't necessarily be able to record now because the intended vocal style and range that he had when he originally envisioned them or demoed them even, he can't sing anymore. So I don't know, but maybe it's morphed into something completely different. Maybe this isn't I/O. He's going to call something else, but the Wikipedia page shows like 23 or 24 songs, something like that. So maybe it's a double. I don't know. Anyway, so there's another piece of news I saw. Jim Matheos of Fate's Warning posted something about he's got a new band with Joey Vera, the bass player. Fate's Warning's last album could be the Long Day to Good Night. It came out in 2020. Probably is the last album they'll ever do. And there's a song on it called The Last Song. I hope not, but he's got this new band called Kings of something. Mercury, not Mercury. I mentioned the book, of course, that biography from Jeff Wagner. King of, get this right. Wasn't posted in here. It's going to be on Metal Blade, and it has the singer from. It's the singer from Kings of Mercia, not. The singer is Steve Overland from the band FM, but not the Canadian band FM. There's a British band that came later, slightly different style. But that's going to be part of the key to me. But Simon Phillips is the other really big, noteworthy drummer who played with like Toto, and I think after Jeff Porcaro unfortunately passed away, and he played with a lot of. He's a prolific guy, like a hired gun. So having Simon Phillips certainly helps. But yeah, I don't think this is gonna sound like Fate's Warning. I think it might resemble that Tuesday the Sky stuff, maybe kind of post-rocky. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Given that I love Fate's Warning and Jim Matheos, some of his other work, OSI and John Arch stuff, the Arch Matheos stuff, I'm definitely interested in hearing it regardless. So, anyway, what have you picked up recently? What are you looking forward to? Are you looking forward to the stuff that I just mentioned, the Self and Peter Gabriel and Kings of Mercia, Mercia? But love to hear about that. Thank you for subscribing and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.